What does being a holistic agent actually mean? We're going to talk about that today. Stay tuned.
This episode of Keeping It Real is brought to you by Real Geeks. How many homes are you going to sell this year? Do you have the right tools? Is your website turning soft leads into interested buyers? Are you spending money on leads that aren't converting? Well, Real Geeks is your solution. Find out why agents across the country choose Real Geeks as their technology partner. Real Geeks was created by an agent for agents. They pride themselves on delivering a sales and marketing solution so that you can easily generate more business. Their agent websites are fast and built for lead conversion with a smooth search experience for your visitors. Real Geeks also includes an easy-to-use agent CRM. So once a lead signs up on your website, you can track their interest and have great follow-up conversations. Real Geeks is loaded with a ton of marketing tools to nurture your leads and increase brand awareness. Visit realgeeks.com/keepingitrealpod and find out why realtors come to Real Geeks to generate more business. Again, visit realgeeks.com/keepingitrealpod. And now, onto our show. Today's episode is brought to you by Corded.io. Are you looking for agents to join your brokerage or team? Now, as a real estate recruiter, I can tell you the answer is always yes. But most agents aren't looking to move right now. So how do you know who to contact? Well, what if I were to tell you there's a recruiting and retention tool powered by artificial intelligence that shows you exactly which agents in your local market are looking to leave their brokerage right now and which agents at your own firm are also looking to leave you? Now, I've been recruiting realtors for 15 years and I've hired over 2,000 agents. I can tell you with no exaggeration, this is the tool I've been waiting for. Corded's AI looks for trends across dozens of variables for each agent in your market and shows you which agents they believe are likely to move. Not only does it do that, but Corded's AI went and visited my recruiting website and read everything I offer. So now when I'm recruiting, Corded's AI tells me exactly what to say based on that agent's needs and what my brokerage can offer. It even writes emails for me. I've never seen anything like it, and I use it every single day. Now, if you are looking to grow your brokerage, Corded.io is the best tool out there. Visit Corded.io to schedule a demo. Again, that's Corded.io. And now, onto the show.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Keeping It Real, the largest podcast made by real estate agents and for real estate agents. My name is DJ Paris. I am your guide and host through the show. And in just a moment, we're going to have top 1% producer from Hawaii, Dan Ihara, on the show, the holistic real estate agent. And what he does is so different from what most real estate agents do. I know you're going to love this and really take away a lot from our conversation. Before we get to that, just as a quick reminder, please tell a friend about this show. Let us know, let them know, let other people in your office know about this episode because we need your help. So please continue to spread the word. We love it when you tell other agents about our show. It helps us continue to grow and we appreciate it. Also, check out our sponsors. They are helping us keep the lights on. Please check out their products and services. We love our sponsors and their services are going to help your business grow. And let's just get right to it, everybody. My conversation with Dan Ihara. Today on the show, my guest is Dan Ihara, who is the founder and the CEO of the Ihara team. Let me tell you more about Don. He is the number one Keller Williams team in Hawaii, in Oahu, the leader of the Keller Williams Real Estate Planner for nearly 2 decades. Don has consistently ranked among the top 100 teams nationally, guiding his team to over $1 billion in real estate transactions, helping more than 1,500 families. As a national recognized coach, advisor, speaker, Dan is dedicated to elevating the standards of the real estate industry. He plays a pivotal role in coaching and training over 500 real estate planners nationwide. Dan empowers agents with the skills and knowledge needed to help their clients build, protect, and transfer wealth through real estate. He also is the author of the upcoming book, Death, Taxes, and Family Destruction: How to Prevent Family Disputes, Avoid Hefty Taxes, and Create Generational Wealth with Clients. He's also working on classes that you can get CE credit for regarding senior relocation, trust and probate, and investor and 1031 and DST classes. So Dan is a teacher. He is a team leader. He is a superstar top 1% realtor in Oahu. Dan, welcome to the show.
Thank you, and aloha.
Aloha. And I think I may have called you Don earlier, so I apologize if I
Yeah.
did that.
Dan
But you
Ihara.
are Dan. And
Yeah.
Dan, tell me the best piece of advice you ever heard in real estate.
Gosh, there were so many pieces of advice that I got. I think one of the main principles of who we are and what we do today is, the world of real estate, we're told to have a script to tell people. And then I learned that maybe it should be flipped on its head, where we should be asking them questions. So I became a questionologist, DJ. I don't know if you know that, but people like me, we're questionologists. We study and use questions in our practice.
I love that. More of a listener and a more of a consultant, right? A consultant's
Yes.
approach is
Yeah.
more question focused, and letting the client tell you everything that they are looking for versus you telling them why you are so amazing. And you are so amazing. But we want to hear your story first. So before we get into your process, let's tell your story. You are from Oahu originally?
Yep. I was born and raised on Oahu. My father was a colonel in the army, so I left when I was 5 and I came back when I was 15. We traveled around the country as a military brat, and I saw 40 of the 50 states by the time I was 14.
Nice.
I came back to Hawaii. I went to University of Hawaii here and decided to stay because I saw the rest of the country and I realized this is the most beautiful place on the planet. So I
No
got
argument
into
there.
surfing. Yeah, I got into surfing at 15 years old and I never turned back. I'm 62 now. I've been surfing for a really long time.
Amazing. Yeah. And Oahu had the longboard surfing. That was sort of what became really popular, or maybe that was out in Maui. I'm not sure, but that was Hawaii had longboard surfing, which I know was very was not what was happening over on the California coast.
Yeah, well, actually, I was born in Hawaii surfing, and
Yeah.
then I was brought to the California coast. But yeah, I've been surfing for a long time. I ride a shortboard and a longboard. I have
Wow.
only two goals in life, DJ. It's one is to watch every sunrise and sunset until I die, and the second is to surf every day till I can't. And I ask my wife, I have a board meeting every day.
I love that. And you've still managed to find the time to close a lot of real estate sales. And you are a listing agent predominantly. Your team,
Yep.
you guys focus about 70% of your business is on listings, 30% on buy side. Let's talk about how you got started. How'd you get into the business?
Sure. Well, I used to sell waterproof cameras around the world. So I took the belt of the globe and I prospected that world, which was quite a big, larger world. So I traveled a lot. And my wife, we had 3 kids at the time, and she said, maybe you ought to stay home so they know your name. So I decided I needed to find a job to stay home. And I met a guy that was in real estate and he introduced me to it. And I took a class at the University of Hawaii and I did well in it and I really enjoyed it. I thought, maybe I could do this. It was either this or pharmaceuticals. So selling real estate, selling drugs, I picked real estate.
Well, at least it would keep you home, right? Like selling pharmaceuticals, you may have had to, travel the states again, and because the pharmaceutical companies are not located in Hawaii, I'm assuming.
That's right.
So yeah, so you started doing that, and how did you begin to develop your business? What did you do that you maybe? I'm sure you've seen lots of agents come and go. What were you doing differently?
So, and for me, it's always been mindset. I've been a serial entrepreneur all my life since I was out of college. I built businesses, and when I got into real estate, I had one mantra was I want to be the best realtor on the planet, just this planet, right? No other planet, right? And so I asked myself, well, how do I become the best realtor on the planet? And I said, well, I needed to learn contracts. So I studied the contract back and front. and I mastered it. I knew every provision and I knew different perspectives of it. I learned properties, right? I went to every broker's open. I learned neighborhoods I didn't even know.
Sure.
And then I met agents. I got them to like me, right? And then I realized like, well, I needed to find the right client. So who has the most real estate? And I was sitting on the beach with my brother who was doing reverse mortgages at the time. And he said, Dan, there's this huge wave of this silver tsunami that's coming. And this is, remember, 20 years ago.
Hmm.
And these people are going to have a lot of problems. They're going to have to leave their home and they need some help, but there's no realtor
Big
that
wealth
focuses.
transfer is what you're talking about.
Right. The big wealth transfer. Well, 20 years ago, nobody really talked about that. My brother
Right.
was already on it, my brother Percy. And so I really owe it to him because he really encouraged me to focus on this market where they had wealth and they had wealth in real estate. Then he said to me, Danny, you should educate people on the value of using you. And so I'm 6 months into being a realtor. I committed to the newspaper. For you young folks, it's this big piece of paper that we would open up and look at
It has
before they.
words on it and stories.
Yeah, words and pictures and things. Yeah, and people actually paid to have it mailed to you. Well, back in those days, by the way, we still do the newspaper. Um, uh, the circulation was large, and older adults looked at it. And so then I started teaching classes on month 6 of being a licensed
Wow.
realtor. I
You have no
committed
business
to,
teaching classes at month 6, but you
yeah,
did. I love it.
yeah, and educating them on best practice, how to buy a home in today's market, how to sell a home in today's
I
market. That was
love
as
it.
simple as it is.
So you were an educator.
I've always been an educator. My father, traveled around the country and taught us that you want to learn and grow. And how do you learn and grow? Well, by asking a lot of questions, right?
Yeah.
And so over time, I became this questionologist, right?
I want to pause you just for a quick second because what you're saying is actually quite profound. Where we're talking about a newer agent, 6 months in, certainly doesn't have the knowledge, the skill set, the experience, but what he can do, or what you did, is you created a program to teach,
Yeah.
and you started teaching it. What that instantly does is it almost eliminates the issue of you're young and
Mhm,
don't know what you're doing, and
mhm.
nobody's going to ask you at this point, oh, you've only been in this 6 months, because you're
Right,
teaching a class. And
right.
by doing that, it bypasses the whole, I wonder how long this guy's been in the business,
Mhm.
because you are now seen as an authority figure and a knowledge. I've never really thought of it before like that. And I thought, just while you were telling me that, my marketing brain went, well, that was really, really smart, because now people will see you as this important person who certainly must know what he's doing.
Yeah, and I started finding out that there was this huge wave of people that needed to leave their home, but
Yeah.
they didn't know where to go. So I started a class called Senior Living Options. Where do I go if I can't stay home? How much does it cost? What does life look like? Who can help me? How do I get
It's
there?
awesome.
So I solved all of their questions that they had because I researched it all. And that's what we have in our community, KW Real Estate Planner. I teach 3 months of senior relocation, of how do you find this demographic? How do you serve it? What are the problems that you can solve? And if you think about everything that I've done, DJ, is I've identified a problem and then I provided a solution to their problem. And when I provided the solution, they hired me with that solution.
Dan, was anyone else as a realtor focused on senior relo? I can't
Now,
imagine. I've done this podcast for 7 years, 700 episodes. You are the very first person I have ever talked to who's
yeah,
talking about
no,
senior
back in
relocation.
those days, nobody did. And even till today, there are a couple of companies that are trying to follow suit. And, they'll have their level of success. But we really mastered it. One of the things that we learned is, we don't know where to go. So I researched it and I got to know everybody. There in our market, there was only 7 retirement communities. There's 2 types of retirement community models. And so I can tell them how much it costs, where to go, what does life look like? How do I get there? I solve those problems for them. But then I found out their biggest problem is not only where to go, it's what do I do with all my stuff?
Yeah.
So they were trapped in their home by the personal belongings they brought into their own home and then made them stuck in their home.
Yeah.
So then I looked around for companies that would help them clear it out, and there weren't any. So I started my own. It was called Senior Move Managers. and declutter Hawaii. I hired my niece. She would come in and she would, with our team of people, help them cleanse the home, make them feel comfortable with moving, take all their things, put it into their new home, set it up, and then we go back and clear out the house and sell it. And that was the magic sauce. So there was a retirement community that came new into our market. They had 180 units in this building. It was a CCRC. Do you know what a CCRC is?
No.
Continuing Care Retirement Community. This is a life care guarantee system where they pay anywhere from $400,000 to $800,000 just to get the key. Then they pay another $6,000 to $8,000 a month for the care and service for the rest of their life. Guess what? That's where the wealthy go. Right?
Sure.
And so I found out what happens when people with money can't stay home. And I brought that solution to the market. And I've been doing these seminars for, gosh, almost 20 years now. Senior Living Options was the name of the title. And then I changed it because one of my competitors took my exact same title. I can't believe that, right? Really pissed me off, but it was okay. Then I changed it to Planning for the Future and Beyond.
Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, they say, right?
Yeah.
Or we just call it theft. But either way, Dan, what you're talking about is really, really brilliant for obvious reasons. Everyone listening, is probably their jaw is hopefully as open as mine, because what we're talking about is a need that every family has at a point. The elder members of the family now have to figure out where they're going to sunset and where they're going to spend the rest of their lives. And this is a big family decision. There isn't a lot of guidance around this. I know families now, they come together, they figure out, what are we going to do with mom and dad? Where are they going to go? What communities are available to them? And what's the cost? Is there long-term care insurance? All of those things. So I suspect that you probably partner with other providers as well. I'm assuming estate planners, financial planners, things like that.
Yeah. So then my next question to myself was, who do the wealthy go to if they have a question regarding their home? Well, that was exactly it. First thing they're going to do is they're going to go to their financial planner to see if they have enough money, right? The second is they're going to go to their CPA to see if there's any tax associated to the sale. And we should talk about capital gains tax because that's a big part of our business. And then the third is they're going to go maybe potentially talk to their attorney as well to see if there's any challenge with what's in the trust and what they're planning on doing, right? And so those are the people that I started calling. I didn't cold call clients. I cold called people that had people. So I went to go get the bird dogs. I mean, I wanted to talk to somebody that could give me 10 properties, not just one. Right? And it worked to a point where I now just did, I think it was in January, a continuing education class for the Financial Planners Association of Hawaii. And now I'm asked to speak around the country to the Financial Planners Associations of America, because people have wealth in many areas, stocks, bonds, Bitcoin, all the liquid assets. Then they have wealth in real estate. So the question is, who plans real estate?
Yeah.
Nobody does.
Yeah, you're right.
Hence, we started the community called KW Real Estate Planner, where we actually create design and pre-inheritance plans, ways to keep money in your pocket, prevent family disputes. Because DJ, 70% of families are fighting over real estate after their parents pass away. 70%. And the biggest reason for that is you can't divide real estate. You see, what happens is if you got wealth, you're going to build a trust. And the trust says, upon my demise, my kids share it. How do you share real estate? You can't. Right. Hence, 70% of families are reacting to a situation where maybe one's living there, the others aren't, right? And
real estate gets really touchy with people. If somewhat have hold sentimental value and don't want to sell, others want to sell. It's not money that you can just divvy up. Yeah.
Well, and it's a lot of money. I mean, we're not talking, $5 or $10. This is millions of dollars they're talking about. Real money that they never believed they could have a part of, but now it's real and it's on the table. And now the judge is gone. Mom and dad's gone. Now all the hurts and offenses of the history and the past come to the surface when they're trying to get what they believe is their fair share. And that's why plans need to be happen. And so I do pre-inheritance plans for families, plans such that their families never fight, plans to bless their family while they're alive, and also plans to prevent capital gains tax from touching their life.
Let's talk about capital gains tax. That is a huge topic right now in in America. What's going on with capital gains, and what are you doing to help your clients protect themselves?
Well, number one, we're asking the question. So for those in the audience, my challenge to you is to understand what capital gains tax is. See, I travel all over the country and I ask the simple question: tell me who knows cost basis? And people don't even know cost basis. Well, if you don't know cost basis, you don't know capital gains tax
Right.
because it starts with the basis, right?
Yeah.
And the basis is really the value that you purchased it at or the value at the date of transfer.
Yeah.
And that's the sticky part. Because if it was transferred prior to death, you have a carryover in cost basis. If it's transferred after death, you get a step up in cost basis. And people don't even understand that. Realtors around the country don't really understand that. And so that's why I'm on a national platform to change the way realtors show up. And I'm challenging you to ask the simple question when you go to a listing appointment: do you understand what your capital gains tax liability is when you sell real estate? Because
It's a
nobody
great
asked that
question.
question.
It's a great question. No, nobody asked that question.
Well, you know why that is? I've realized why that is. Number one, the industry doesn't teach us that.
Yeah.
Number two, it doesn't impact our money, does it?
Good
So
point.
why are you asking questions that doesn't impact you? Well, if you really care about the client, if you're going to be a true advocate and consultant or a real estate wealth advisor like I am, you're going to ask that question and you're going to calculate it for him and you're going to know what that looks like prior to even showing up.
And really, what you're doing too, this falls under the umbrella of fiduciary, right? And so,
Yeah.
um, although not expected to do, but certainly something that will provide not only value to the consumer, but also will establish you as their key partner throughout
Oh,
that
yeah.
entire the length the time that they're in that home. So I love that idea. It almost cements you
Yeah.
as the person as you start to. By the way, as you're moving in, let's talk about capital gains.
Yeah. Yeah. Clients call me the advisor now. They don't call me a realtor.
Yeah,
That's a big difference, right?
huge.
Yeah. Because
There's
what
lots of
happens.
realtors out there. There's not a lot of advisors.
No, no. And what's really cool about this is I get at least three levels of clients, right? I got the parents, the children, and the grandparents. Why? Because we're creating plans sometimes for generation skipping
Yeah,
trust.
yeah.
We're passing on real wealth, like significant wealth. And that's where our focus has been.
Wow. So you really take a holistic approach to managing, um, the real estate portion, but you have partners or businesses to assist with the other aspects of it: estate planning, financial planning, tax,
Yeah.
all of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, I do three classes in my market. One is called Senior Living Options. The other is avoiding capital gain tax and transferring real estate wealth. And the third is I'm a trustee, now what? And they're all designed to provide information to the wealthy that they need. See, think of it this way. Uh, every wealthy person has a trust, right? To protect it from probate.
Sure.
But then the question is, well, what happens when you're gone? And they said, I don't know. The trust takes care of it. So, I asked them, so really? So tell me what it says. I said, well, I don't know what it says. Well, I said, well, I can tell you what it says because I've seen thousands of these and very few have a time frame on it. What it says is upon your demise, your kids share it. So let me ask you, are all your kids alike? Do they think
Right.
alike? Do they act alike? Are they in the same economic phase of life? So if the answer is no to any of those questions, you're likely going to be a statistic. Or do you have a plan such that when you're gone, your kids will love each other forever? That doesn't sound like a realtor, does it?
No.
And some people ask me, oh, but I need to sell real estate. Can you help me too? Yeah, I can do that as well. Because they don't consider me like everybody else.
Yeah, you're not a realtor. Yeah.
No, I'm much more than that. I'm a real estate wealth advisor.
Wow. Well, Dan, it's really quite a profound paradigm shift. I'm a bit aghast at this, and the professionalism that you emote is very impressive, and we ought to think about wealth transfer because right now we are in the largest wealth transfer in American history, at least. It's going on right now, and by the way, trustees. It's funny. It's funny. My sister and I'm the trustee of my parents' estate, and I to be funny, I called her and I said, "Ha ha, I'm the trustee and you're not." And she goes, "That's not a. You don't want to be the trustee." She
Yeah,
like the
that's
trustee's the
right.
worst job. So
It
she started
sure is.
laughing at me, and then I called my dad and I said, "You made me trustee," and he started laughing. He goes, "Well, yeah," he goes, "One of you had to be," but my sister and I we get along, so we're
That's
going to be
good.
okay. But
Yeah.
and we have but we've talked about it. We've figured it out. We know what the plan is when if and when my parents
Well, I
pass.
don't know. Most people, they have a trust, they have a trustee, right? So there's three parties. There's a grantor, the owner of the property. There's a
Yeah,
trustee that fulfills the instructions of the trust. Then there's a beneficiary. So the trustee acts in the best interest of the beneficiary.
yeah,
But there's 21 things you need to know
yeah.
in order to be a trustee. And here's the funny thing about that: the world does not teach you that.
Right.
There's no attorney that'll teach you that. There's no class you can go to other than mine. There is no way to figure that out. And so I lay it all out for people. I'm saying these are the things that you're going to want to make sure you do, because if you miss one of those, that could be problematic for you and your family.
I love this, Dan. You have really taken a educational approach to your clients. It's not about it's you are not transactional in any capacity.
Mm.
You are strictly about planning. And
Yeah.
and this is what successful financial advisors have done for years and years is to say, hey, maybe we don't manage all of the assets here at our company, but maybe your 401k is at your company, but I need to know what's going on there so I can,
Yeah.
and you are doing a version of that here with real estate, and I think that is a really brilliant idea. And
Mm.
first we should mention too that Dan's team, they are always on the lookout for new talent or talent in the area. So if you are in Oahu and you are a listener of our show and you think you can add value to Dan's team and you think that's the kind of team I want to be on, you can certainly reach out to them. They will see if there's some synergy there. Um, and Dan, for all of our listeners who haven't really dealt with senior living or senior challenges, senior home challenges, what do you recommend as a place to get started to start educating themselves?
Um, Join our community, join a class that understand. I think the first thing you have to understand is your client, right? And like we say in Hawaii, walking the other person's slippers to feel what it feels like to be them, right? And so I'm going to Dallas and then San Antonio this week. I leave today, and I'm teaching a class called Aging and Assets. And in the aging part of it, we have an immersion class of feeling how it feels to be an older adult. There are a number of things that will happen is when you go into an older adult's home and you're going to be sweating in there and they have all the windows closed. Why? Because their derma, their
Yeah,
skin gets thin. So they get cold fast. They can't hear, they can't see. Balance is a challenge. Cognitively, they're going to slow down. Many of them don't have cell phones. Some of them don't even have I mean, so you just have to understand who you're dealing with, right? Once you understand that, then you can walk alongside them. Because if you don't understand them, then you're going to beat your head up like, what's wrong with this person? They're not like me. Well, of course they're not. They're much older, even. They're twice your age. Right? And so, first is understanding who they are. The second thing is understanding their challenges, challenges with their primary residence and challenges with investment properties. And then third is just bringing solutions to those problems. And when you do that, they will hire you.
I love that. Dan, um, tell us more about your some of the classes that you teach.
Yeah. So I just taught the class. Saturday, I was at an aging in place workshop. So it's a senior fair, so to speak, in my market. It was in a hotel. And I had two seminars. It was called Avoiding, what was it called? Avoiding Capital Gains Taxes and Transferring Real Estate Wealth. So usually in the morning, it's pretty busy. In the afternoon, they go home, right? Well, I had one at 8:30 and one at 12:30. At 8:30, it was a full room. I think, dang, this is pretty busy. And keep in mind, I've done this for 14 years, and I used to do 1031 exchange seminars. Well, that sounds a little scary, and some people don't know what it is. So I learned that I had to dumb everything down to the simplest form, which is just avoiding capital gain tax. Everybody wants to do that. They also want to transfer wealth. So I show up, and there's a full room of 70 people, right? I did both of those seminars. We ended up with 20 appointments with people with a lot of wealth. I don't have enough real estate agents, DJ, to handle all this business. And it's a challenge for us. So we are aggressively recruiting. That's part of it. The other part of what we do is we don't cold call, we don't door knock, I don't pay for leads. We don't do any of that. We have a database of 1,600 closed transactions, right? So all we do is talk to them. And what we do, the conversation today is, this year we started it, is, hey, DJ, we haven't talked in a while, but hey, did you know it's time for your real estate plan review?
Exactly.
They go, well, what's that? So it's a plan to help you build wealth, protect wealth, and then possibly pass on wealth. Which one of those things matter most to you?
Brilliant.
See, because I know one of those
course.
things matter. And then so it's just so easy to get appointments with people with wealth, people that already know you and trust you. And now what happens is we talk to the client, mother and father, right? Well, they have parents, both sides. So we're going to ask about their parents. They're going to ask about their siblings. We're going to ask about their kids. Then we're going to talk about their grandkids. And so now we have this holistic, huge, I call it, what's the opportunity within the opportunity? Right? Most people see the couple as a transaction. Well, they're missing the mark. They're missing the reality of the fact is that person knows other people with real estate. And those people have problems.
And if you are able to solve beyond just, I want to buy this home, if you're able to package that within the framework of someone's overall financial plan, that is a very different transaction with the same end result, buying a home. And it's you're kind of blowing my mind in a way.
I don't have concerns or challenges with listing price. I don't have concerns or challenges with commissions. I just don't, because I'm worth more than what I'm giving them, right? And what they're paying. I mean, they don't even question me on what I do, and my margins are higher than anything else in my market. All commissions are negotiable.
Sure.
But my point is, they're going to pay for what they believe is worth it. And when I show them that I save them hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars in plans, I save them from their family fighting, they hire me.
Yeah, it's always about value. If you can create value, when NAR had the commission conversion, and we all had to now start asking buyers for commissions, the really best realtors out there said, this is not a problem. This is not I provide so much value that and many realtors had been doing this anyway prior to the NAR lawsuit, or the change. And but let's talk about 1031 exchanges. I just think there are a lot of our listeners who probably don't know about 1031. So what is 1031 and why should agents care about it?
So I'll walk you through a conversation. The simplest conversation for takeaway for today for the agents is ask one simple question. Do you own more than one property? See, if the answer is yes, they're an investor because they live in one. The IRS sees properties as you live in one as a primary residence and the rest you don't live in because you can only live in one, right? And so if you have more than one, you're an investor. The next question would be, how's that working for you? And what your goal is to find the problem. At some point over the age of 60, 70, and 80, there will be problems. Tenant didn't pay. I'm tired of the toilets and tenants, the taxes, the trash. Oh, here's another thing that's happening is insurance rates are
Sure.
rising. So what happens when costs rise, but your income doesn't? Your rate of return goes down. So then I ask them, oh, so what's your cap rate? And they go,
What's
oh,
a cap
extra
rate?
large? Well, I think I'm an extra large. No, it's a capitalization rate. Would you like to know? Would you like a free asset performance test?
Love that.
And everybody says yes, and they don't even know what it is because I made it up. Not today, I made it up years ago. But an asset performance test is a cap rate analysis and a cash on cash. And then my next question to them is, if you could make more money, would you? Well, I already know the answer is going to be yes. So when I do an asset performance test with people, I show them their capital gains tax, how much money they save if they do a 1031 exchange. And then I show them their rate of return, and they're getting 0 to 2% in my market. I say, well, how do you feel about that? And they go, that's not good.
Inflation
is it?
is historically at 3%.
Yeah. So if you're not over 3%, you're kind of floating backwards, right? So if I could get you 5%, would you be interested?
Sure.
Yes. Now you have a client that's going to sell and buy within a time frame. A couple of things happen is they're going to be highly motivated because they have to buy, number one, and they're buying in cash. Why? Because they paid off their debt. See, we're not talking to a 20 and 30-year-old. We're talking to a 60, 70, and 80-year-old or 90-year-old that doesn't want it anymore. So one of my earlier questions to them is, do you need the income from this investment property to sustain the life you desire? Right? That doesn't sound like a realtor too, right?
That's a
See,
financial
the questions
advisor
that I
question.
ask has nothing to do with me, right? So if they say yes, I'm going to go make them more money. If they say no, my next question is, if you could bless your family, would you? Well, I already know the answer is yes, right? And so then I talk about their family, and I ask them, do their kids have real estate? They go, no. I said, well, if they don't own real estate, if they could, would they? That's another magic
The
question.
answer is yes.
I've got about 20 magic questions that I ask, right? Because so not every question is the same, right? And so there's a system and a pattern to this. And what I've figured out, DJ, is there's only 7 types of human beings a realtor will meet. And there's only 7 questions to get an appointment and then getting an agreement. So what I teach is that in the world of real estate, there's only 2 things you really need to do. You need to get an appointment, you need to get an agreement. And the reason why realtors are not successful is they don't have enough appointments, right? Because if you don't have an appointment, you don't have an agreement, you have
double
no
your
escrow.
appointments, you should double your business. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so I have 1 to 3 appointments every day while I'm home. That's why I have a pipeline of business that's just outrageous, and I don't have enough agents. So the question around them and their money matters. And I can guide them through either a path of making money or blessing their family. It's one of 2. So I already know there's only 2 paths to go, right? The other path could be, I want money, but I don't need it, right? I don't want the property. And then there's passive income. So for the investor, I ask them a simple question. Would you like to be an active investor or a passive investor? It's a simple question, but people in baby boomer and their parents, none of them want active.
They don't want the 2 a.m. phone calls.
They don't want it. They don't need it. They got more money than they can spend. That's the target audience. The person that cannot spend all of their money. They already know that. They have a money problem, which means it's too much. That's been my focus. So then if they're passive income, then there's one route that we go, and it's called a DST, a Delaware Statutory Trust. I can sell an investment property via a 1031 exchange, buy a DST or invest in a DST, and it gives them true passive income. What is a DST? It's a trust that owns real estate, right? The Amazon warehouse in North Carolina is a DST. The ESPN News Center is a DST. There's hotels in Austin, Texas that are DSTs. I own one in 3 states, apartment buildings. So I sold an asset that was getting 2.1% return, and I get 5.5% return. And I don't even think about it. It's truly passive. It's similar to an
Yeah.
annuity. So what I do is I use that tool to help them unlock wealth, and I reposition it. So that's our conversation. If they have wealth in real estate, if you could unlock it and reposition it to whatever mattered most to you, would you? Yeah. And so then my conversations are about living a big life. And my question to them is, see, these people, and some of them came from the depression or some parts of that depression where they held on to everything, right? And they didn't know that they had options with a 1031 exchange. So now I'm teaching them to identify value and see real estate differently from a house with doors and windows and a roof to an asset. It's an asset class that when you unlock it, how do you unlock it? We sell it, right? When you unlock it, you can reposition it, meaning buy something else that matters more to you, whether it be your family or making more money or just being passive, right? And that's the solution we provide to the world. And that's what we're teaching around the country. The 1031 exchange is an unknown to most people, like cost basis
Yeah.
is, right? Because it seems scary. It's actually not, right? It's not. I've done over 400 of them. I've never failed once. 100% success. Why? Because I have a system to it, right? And if you just follow a proven model, it's going to work. You know, we do every month. We'll probably do 4 to 6 1031 exchanges every month, right? On the buy and the sell side. And that's what's really cool. You have one client, you got 2 transactions, twice the income, right? And by the way, I don't know if you know this, but 34% of all households in America are rentals.
Wow.
So 1 in every 3 homes you drive by is a
Wow.
rental. And here's another statistic you want to know is the average landlord, they have
Right.
3 of them. So if you're looking for the guy with the most amount of real estate, why would you look anywhere
Right.
else? There is no other demographic that holds the wealth of real estate that wants to get rid of it and is at a point now that they're worried about tax and their family. And that's why this solution has become so popular. It's a movement that I'm bringing to the world, and our team has, to maybe change the way the conversation shows up for a realtor, right? And ask questions around wealth to help them plan their wealth, the building, protecting, and the passing on. This transfer of wealth that you spoke of, $90 trillion is going to be transferred, and 40 trillion of that is in real estate. 40 trillion. It's incredible. And now the next generation, the baby boomers and the Gen X's, are kind of concerned about their money. What's going to happen when mom and dad die? They're planning, but there's really not many places to look for it. And so this movement about creating real estate wealth advisors is a massive movement, which will be open to everybody anywhere.
And you are basically the leader of the Keller Williams real estate planner movement. And you have built that class and course and continue to teach it to agents all over the country. Uh, Dan, what if someone wanted to start learning more from you? Where should they go?
Probably YouTube. I mean, you could probably find me everywhere. I've done over 200 hours of training over the last 3 years. Join our community. I have another class that's agnostic. They can come into called Securing Listings with the Wealthy. I do that 3 to 4 times a year. Um, Soon to be the continuing education class. So what we're also doing, DJ, that that continuing education class that I'm offering to realtors, I'm also offering it to financial planners. It'll be a CE class for financial planners. And I'm also offering it for consumers. Consumers can learn what you should be learning. And then they're going to go seek out a real estate wealth advisor. And those people are going to win.
I love it. Don Ihara is our guest today. He is the leader of the Keller Williams Real Estate Planner and the Ihara team in Oahu. He is, by the way, Dan has clients that move from the island to the mainland and back and forth. So if you are a realtor in an
Hmm.
area that feeds into Oahu or the surrounding islands, and or vice versa, Dan would like to
Hmm.
partner with you. So if you have opportunities there
Absolutely.
where you have clients that have vacation homes, or maybe are retiring out to Hawaii, or moving in and out for whatever reason, definitely reach out to him and his team. They're the number one Keller Williams team on Oahu. And also reach out to him if you are an agent on Oahu and you are looking to maybe
Mhm.
get a better to see what else is out there with other teams. I mean, what Dan offers is truly remarkable. Dan, I have talked to hundreds of realtors all over the country who offer all sorts of services. This is the most unique service set that I have ever experienced in my 7 years. So I applaud you for what you're doing.
Thank you.
I really am so impressed with the holistic approach that you take to wealth transfer, and seeing this as a consultative business versus a transactional business. And everyone says that, but you're actually doing it. Everyone says, I don't see my clients as transactions, and yet they are doing transactions. And I suspect, it's not because agents are nefarious. They just don't know how to do more, and what you are
Right.
doing is actually the next step. So I am so impressed with what you've built, what you continue to build, what your team has done, and what the businesses you've built have created, and the education that you've put out there so that others can learn. This is a truly you're truly an amazing realtor and a wealth planner, and what an amazing thing to have you on our show. So on behalf of our audience, we thank Dan for his time today. Dan, by the way, Dan has to get in the water. He surfs every day, and he has 1 to 3 client appointments every day. By the way, I always love when you go back to that one thing. Well, speaking of Keller Williams, the one thing that you have to do every day. And he's like, I have to have 1 to 3 appointments. And that's why my pipeline is always full. You said that earlier. It's just like doing push-ups. I have to do push-ups every day, or whatever that is for you, because it is the boulder we push up the mountain every single day. Dan's, for him, it's surfing and it's appointments, and he is doing it. So on behalf of the audience, we say thanks to Dan. On behalf of Dan and myself, we thank the audience for sticking around to the end of the show. Please support our sponsors. Please check out Dan and his team. The iharateam.com is, I believe, the website. And yeah, oh no, iharateam.com. We will have links to all of their socials, including YouTube, in the show notes. iharateam.com is where you go to learn all about Dan and what he and his team are offering. And Dan, we will see everybody on the next episode. Thanks.
Thank you so much. Aloha.